Hello guys, hello. First topic that I kind of want to talk about is review bombing. I thought like I shouldn't talk about this, like, you know, topics on my streams and shit, because at the end of the day it doesn't really matter. But I just kind of want to rant about it, because it makes no sense to me how people can do that for no absolute reason. It just doesn't seem right. But don't get me wrong, it's not like reviewing a game with a negative review is considered a review bomb. It's like, if it's a constructive negative review, everything makes sense. I was holding myself back so goddamn hard to not talk about this with somebody until today on stream that I just need to start with it. Sorry, I hope you guys don't mind me like just instantly ranting about something. But I really want to talk about this because it just kind of bothers me for some reason. I don't know why. I have this, like, you know, brain where I just have to like talk about certain stuff no matter what. So, review bombing. We saw it in mainly Helldivers. Every time there was a bot update, people will just go, time to negative review the full of the game. Once again, I don't think Helldivers is in a great state right now. I don't think it's deserving all of the positive talking about it. But review bombing is unironically should be like illegal. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me that that's allowed whatsoever. And it just doesn't prove anything about the game. For me, like Steam reviews before were kind of like, you know, you actually could learn something about the game looking at the reviews. And now kind of the Steam reviews are just, what do you call it? Hi Twilight, hello. What do you call this? It's like, Steam reviews are kind of like a place to just say a biased opinion rather than actual review. Instead of a review, it's just like an opinion, which I know it should be the same kind of thing, but it really isn't, especially when people are like how they are on reviews, where one thing they don't like and they are instantly allowed to just give a negative review. I don't think that's normal. I don't think that should be allowed, and I feel like the Steam reviews in itself should have like some kind of like, you know, they should have like some kind of requirements. For example, I don't know, you have to play the game at least 20 hours. You have to at least, I don't know, have like couple good reviews that have gone through the system on your like Steam profile. Because it just, one, it can ruin a game, and two, it can make someone off-put even though the game would be perfectly exactly what they want. It happened with FBC Firebreak, for example. People would be like reviewing the game, review bombing, with like 40 minutes, 50 minutes of playtime and saying that the game is boring. It's like playing, let's say, an MMORPG for like 15 minutes, not understanding whatever the fuck's going on, and then just saying, oh yeah, this game is trash, and giving it a bad review. That just doesn't seem right in any way or form to me. I know that there is a freedom of speech or whatever. Yeah, this is exactly what I mean. It's like people don't learn the game whatsoever or refuse to read anything about the game and say that the points of the game are like, you know, boring or don't make any sense. This like quest line is stupid, this is boring, this is that. But they never actually got to the point where the game is supposed to like pick up, which makes no sense. It's really stupid, and I really do think that the games, one, on Steam's, they should be at least like a week before you can actually give a review. Because what happened with Wu-Chang Fallen or Feathers, right? Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers got overwhelmingly negative reviews, even though they fixed the game next day of the release. The optimization of that game was horrendous, sure. But one thing about it is that they instantly fixed it, and now my friend played the game and said that before it would stutter and run like trash, but now the game runs really good and works really well. So even though the frames are not too big, like, you know, for what it's supposed to be, the game at least is already more than optimized. Another point is that it's an Unreal Engine 5 game, so instantly everybody's like, oh my god, it's Unreal Engine. It's not really that. So like, what I'm getting at is that a lot of points in the negative reviews don't hold any ground and are not constructive criticism about the product and shouldn't be allowed to be considered a negative review. I know it's a hard topic, I know it's hard to like, you know, create a middle ground where everything makes sense, but it definitely isn't the best to just write off a game after it literally came out, you played only like 2 hours of it, and that's kinda it. I get it, performance issues are frustrating. Yeah, it makes complete sense to like not enjoy something when it's performance but, right? But one, you have 2 weeks to refund the game, and you have 2 hours to refund the game. You can play the game for 2 hours, and in a span of a 2-week period. Give the game at least a couple days before you actually give a negative review about the performance, because you never know, the developers might fix it. We have Unreal Engine 5 games that run well. Dead Zone Rogue, Payday 3, what else runs well on Unreal Engine 5? Wukong runs amazing for how it looks and what it provides. It actually, like, the game might be not the best, but in terms of, like, all the balancing and shit, but when it comes to, like, performance-wise, it runs really well. So, it's, like, writing off a game only because of the, you know, engine, only because of the fact that it runs currently, but it doesn't make any sense to me that it's allowed to do that kind of deal on a platform that is supposed to be about reviewing the game. It's like, you can do that kind of rant on your YouTube channel, which is like free to watch. But I don't think it makes any sense to give a review on a product that is for X amount of money to instantly write it off as something bad just because you saw it there and don't give it time. They don't give it time to, like, cook in the oven for a bit. Where overwhelmingly negative reviews make sense. Monster Hunter Wilds. There, it makes complete sense. Game has been out for almost a year. They still haven't addressed the performance issues. The game runs worse every update.
They must be waiting for the order to
There, the performance reviews are completely and entirely, that completely makes sense that that kind of game gets negative reviews. It's been a year, they had time to fix it, people were already talking about it on discussions, on every single, like, type of, like, survey, that the game runs super bad, and the developers just refuse to fix it. Even though if it's an engine problem or whatever, don't make the game that is open world on an engine that isn't made for an open world. So here, when it comes to Monster Hunter Wilds, it makes complete sense that people are given overwhelmingly negative reviews for a game that has been out for a year and it has not been fixed whatsoever. But Wuchang Fallen Feathers, sure. Like, it runs really bad on release, but it's been a day and they already fixed most of the performance. So I really don't think it's fair to instantly, the moment the game releases and it runs super bad, to instantly write it off as a negative review for the performance issues, of course. If it's a constructive criticism where you say, oh yeah, the game wasn't fun for me, the game was pretty boring, the mechanics feel clunky and shit, then you're completely right in your mind to give a negative review. But if it's something as biased as just performance issues without giving anything to, you know, Boobs who had made up for it. What are you talking about, man?
Shit! I'm in the wrong theater.
It, like, just doesn't make any sense that reviews on Steam are just an unattended opinion of everybody. I get it. Like, opinions matter. You can give your opinion, whatever, but opinion does not equal a review. I just don't think that those things are the same thing ever. Like, ever. It just doesn't make any sense. You're collectively ruining possible game, like, you're ruining the game's, like, popularity and possible sales because of your biased opinion, not a review. It does not make sense to do that. Give the game a bit longer, and then you can, if it's still pretty bad on performance, go ahead and give the bad review. But the game came out one day and instantly had overwhelmingly negative reviews for performance. People just completely misunderstand what kind of problem Unreal Engine 5 has. The problem with this is that Unreal Engine 5 have problems to Epic, not to the developers that utilize that engine. Engine is great, there is a lot of cool optimized stuff to it, but Epic Games just never really explained how to do it. They tell you to gather your analytics. That was on video of one of those channels that kind of do, like, optimization parts. So yeah. They don't give you actual, like, utilization of their tech. You are being told that you need to gather analytics to fix the problems of the game. And if you're a studio that don't have full on display where they can use any type of configuration, fix this and that, I just don't think it makes sense to instantly write it off when they need to gather the analytics for that review. Like, for the performance, not review. It just doesn't make sense. But once again, if it took, like, month, okay, maybe not more, month is month is way too long. Let's say a week or two for them to not address any type of performance problems. But if it's, let's say they addressed already something and they already will like set and vowed that they will do something else, then I don't think it's fair. You should like hold on to your review until and only the time that they promise they will fix the performance past like you know, past that time is no longer like there. They didn't keep their promise, like Dark Tide, for example, where they promised private play and shit like that. That is more than welcome to give you to like give a negative review. It's been 2 years and they still haven't given the basic features that they promised. Completely normal to give a negative review for that. But once again, like, just for the sake of game just released and it already runs, but I don't think it's fair to instantly... give me a second, Harlan is a bit too loud, shut the fuck up, man. It is not fair to instantly write off the game like that. Like, review bombing is the worst kind of culture so far we got in gaming industry overall. It just doesn't make any sense. We turned reviews into biased opinions. That's just not what a review stands for. Do it everywhere, but not in a review section of a game, because the review section of the game is supposed to bring out good and bad points while staying non-biased. Another thing that Steam should probably do is not only have positive or negative review, they should allow you to rate the game based on like a scale of 1 to 10. And let's say you could give like 4 and say the reason why I gave 4 is because this was bad, but there was also something decent about this game that someone might find fun. The problem with this is that review is supposed to be a constructive criticism, not an opinion. That's basically what I'm getting at all the time. And the only thing that reviews are kinda right now on Steam are just whining people about something they didn't enjoy. Helldivers is a prime example of that, which just doesn't make any sense. And yeah, that's just what I see at what I see like current state of Steam reviews at. And I just wanted to talk about it because it just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever that people are just giving reviews based on zero experience, zero time, or just pure biased opinion, which those 3 points, I don't think they validate you ever to give a review about the game. Like, the biased opinion here is just Unreal Engine, but that's kind of what it is. Like, well, I mean, that I don't think that we can call that... I don't think we can call that a review bomb, to be fair, because it was a constructive and fair negative review about the point that they forced onto something on the game, and for people that already have bought it, they couldn't play it anymore, or some people couldn't buy it because of the region restriction. I feel like that's more than welcome to be called a constructive bad review. I don't think that this is review bombing, you know, but like that doesn't click the check marks for me to be called a review bombing. I know that we call that review bombing because there was a lot of reviews, but that's not what review bombing is. It's not really that. Review bombing is when people give a biased opinion in en masse about something that completely doesn't correlate to the game's gameplay or such. Like, for example, that Helldivers thingy about the Eagle City happened, that was like, oh, this is supposed to be here on the normal planet, and this is a video game, and now we are mad because our, like, city in the game, that is supposed to be us in the real world, had problems or something. That kind of deal is a review bombing. It's like a Twitter argument on a review page of a Steam. That makes no sense and is super toxic. Another thing is Monster Hunter Wilds. It's not a review bomb. It's a completely constructive criticism about the fact that the performance has been super bad for a year or more. But there is also a problem here. There is a review bomb on Monster Hunter Wilds because they are also getting death threats. It makes no sense. Like, why are you giving death threats to employees over the fact that the game is running bad? Listen, I get it, you can be mad about certain stuff in a game, but you're not gonna wish somebody to unalive themselves just because they refuse to listen to you. It's not normal, that kind of deal. That's just toxicity, and that is what I feel that review bombing is. It's just pointless addition of toxicity with biased opinions. In Monster Hunter Wilds is also a bit convoluted because there is a constructive point why people are negative review in the game, but it definitely doesn't validate the fact that they can just type the most heinous shit to the employees ever. It makes no sense whatsoever. They should not be able to do that. That should be illegal, because, I mean, it is illegal to give threats online, so, I mean, like, how is that just allowed to be there? I think it's the only way people can give feedback to the dev that won't listen, but now it becomes this, once again, negative reviews just don't form, like, in my brain, like, review bombing doesn't equal negative reviews. Because the devs won't listen sometimes, that is completely true, and best practice is either to negative review the game, or not buy it, or refund it. But it just doesn't equal to always be a utilized, like, we are weaponizing reviews at this point, that's what we are doing. Any type of problem that could not be even a problem for X amount of people, it's not a big, huge issue about certain stuff, and we're still gonna, like, review bomb, well, not us, but, you know, some people will. And weaponizing reviews, this just does not make any sense. At the end of the day, giving a review is a sense of responsibility because you are reviewing a product. So if we started doing that for every single thing on the planet where you can just negative review bomb over something super minuscule, then it just doesn't make sense. Once again, there can be massive amounts of negative reviews on a game. Because if the game is boring, because if the game doesn't listen, because if the devs don't listen, because if there are, like, actual problems viable, after a while, even though, like, the devs promised something, completely fair to, once again, give a negative review. It just doesn't make sense to me in a spectrum of, oh, the game just released, it runs bad, Unreal Engine 5, time to give negative review. That kind of deal doesn't make sense. Oh, this place in the game is supposed to be where I live normally in real life. Oh, bad review. That completely doesn't make sense. That is just such a, so out of the ass, like, that is just stupid. Like, that is just literally just stupid. It's a video game. Video game is not real life. Just because the game has a planet doesn't mean that it entirely portrays that it's the planet Earth. And once again, Helldivers is a goddamn satire game, bro. It's a satire game. Like, I would get it if we have, like, a game that is about the tactical forces on military and they are slanderous about certain party in the world. Then it's completely understandable that people can get, like, mad about it because it makes no sense. You're just spreading propaganda. But it's a satire video game about a future world where there are, like, alien invaders and you can die from hitting your toe on a wrong block in a video game while the guy actively talks about, like, liberty and democracy where it doesn't make any sense. So, like, Helldivers community takes everything way too serious. That is, like, the fact, and nobody can, like, you know, deny that. But there's just so many negative review bombing on Steam which make no sense whatsoever to be even there, that I seriously think Steam or Valve should unironically, like, take down most of the reviews that have nothing to say about the product in anything but negative light fully. In, like, a sense where it just doesn't make any sense. It's not a coherent and constructive criticism. It's just game bad because bad. That kind of deal. And I stretched out this conversation to 20 minutes, even though the main point was that non-biased opinion doesn't equal a review. But, you know, I'm a yapper and that's what I do.